Obviously, comment sections are interesting, right? I've been coming across some weird comments about there's a podcast I listen to. I don't know if I want to say the name. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. It's a podcast called Tuesdays with Stories. Now, the show's a very back and forth, funny, irreverent, just two dudes saying a lot of gay jokes, fucking around, saying wild shit, a lot of puns, telling stories. In between, it's a certain dynamic you have to be into, right? Like, there's certain podcasts, like, there's certain people that is just, their dynamic is what you come back for the show. It's not really the topics they, like, I don't care what the title of the show is or the episode. I do not care what topics are in the description. I'm 90% going to click just because I want to get in that world of their world of escaping, But what's odd to me is not even on the Spotify comment section. A lot of people probably don't know that it's actually comment sections on like these streaming, Spotify and Apple Podcast type of thing. And I never really read because who the fuck actually comments on Spotify? That's, it's a pretty odd thing to do. And you could definitely tell, like, a lot of people make comments and they don't listen to the episode and they just want to get some opinion they have about the people that have nothing to do with the episode, which is what it is. The man's, like, this one comment said, Mark needs to get away from these hacks. Joe, Sam, basically his friends in comedy, they are holding him back. He needs to separate from them. It's like, that's what you took away from this? Yeah, sure. Mark's now head and shoulders more famous than his friends. But it seems like it's odd that we want people to be relatable. We want people to be connected to us as, consumers and fans and stuff like that. But then you want them to start being the type of asshole that you would criticize when they get too big for their skis. So you want him, and who are you, like, my thing is, who are you to assume that they're holding him back when really he's probably gotten to the place he's gotten to because of those friends. They all went through the ranks together, started around the same time. They grew together. They all became successful in their own right. Like, what you probably don't realize that maybe he does is that they're actually a big reason why he's where he's at. Their support. Their ability to bounce ideas off each other. People that actually understand their profession, because it's not a standard profession. Like, we could pretend to be like, oh, it's like any other job. It's like, nah, like that. It's a very hard thing to explain to people that don't do that. So to have people that do what you do, see you go through the ups and downs, what it takes and all that stuff in that profession. And you got people in the comment section now calling his friends hacks and people that are holding him back. It's like, well, if he's gone to where he's at, them holding him back, yeah, I think he's doing all right, And we always just assume that when people become a little bit more professionally successful at something than their close friends, that they need to disattach with them. When maybe that's an insecurity you have because, there's this belief out here. And, like, you'll see, like, there's this dude. This dude, like, it's never the people that have, like, that make $20 million bucks. It's always the ones that get their first 200,000. And they're like, you know what? I'm just on a different level. I'm on a different level of thinking than my friends now. It's like, bro, relax. You are one lawsuit away from being right back down with them, if not worse. All right. Sit your ass down. But then they're the ones that go on these shows like, you know what? We just weren't, they just don't understand, what life is like out there when you have they just don't have that same frequency. We're just on different spaces, and like they start using shit that doesn't mean anything. It's always the ones that make like a few $1,000s that start talking like this, not the ones that are actually making millions and really, really doing it. Someone gets a couple 100,000, all of a sudden they start talking a certain way. They're the ones that start preaching about, oh, what you need to do when you get money. It's like, no, what you need to do when you get money is just, don't be stupid. Don't think you're too big for your britches because you get a few dollars now. And like chances are, if you have bad friends, like good friends aren't going to turn to bad friends when you have money. They were already bad friends, but now that you have money, you actually see them for being bad friends, right? But really, if you have good friends, when you do come across that, you're going to want to reward, not giving people, but you're going to want to do things with people now that you can afford these things, That's what it's about. You're like, hey, look, I have this opportunity to show a part of life that we weren't able to before. And if you have good friends that appreciate that, they're going to appreciate that. And one, not abuse the power, but not be like afraid of it. Be like, hey, man, like this is fucking great. But people get a few dollars and then they become so much more selfish than when they had no money in a weird way. If you're selfish when you didn't have money, then when you get money, if you're selfish, then you're selfish. If you're unselfish, then great. But you don't have to enter from one space to another you don't have to be different just because now you have money. You need to be more protective of certain things. You need to be smarter. Sure. But having a certain amount in your bank account doesn't elevate you to being above certain things. I guess that's all I got to say about that. But what's odd about it is these people in the comment section, you can definitely just feel their projection. They just assume that if someone has reached a certain level, they need to disband from the people that are probably part of a reason why they're where they're at. Like, how do you not know that him being around these people you call hacks or people holding him back are actually what make him feel normal? That don't make him feel elevated as a person. That actually ground him. That actually just make him... Because typically when you start getting that, you typically start seeking to feel normal. When you're normal, you seek to feel superior. You seek to feel, exquisite, like an antique. You feel the need to feel more enhanced about yourself. Then you get all that and you're like, you know what? Actually, I just want to feel normal. And your friends group are always going to be the people, if they're good friends, that no matter how much your life changes, when you're around them, life's the same. Because we need some type of consistency throughout this life. And if you can't get that consistency within your friends group, or within your home, or within your family, your kids, your spouse, where can you get it from? Because the world out there, they will treat you different. You're absolutely right. You go out there in the world, people know that you carry a few buckaroos in your pocket, they're going to be a lot nicer to you. They're going to start treating you different. They're going to start, being around you to, get tips and do marketing and business deals. That's like, bro, I'm just trying to deadlift right now. I do not give a fuck about your startup. Hey, like that would be, honestly, if, when I become a successful trader, the most annoying thing, I'll be honest, is like if people ask me, hey, so how do you think the market's going to be tomorrow? And you're like, I don't fucking know. Like, I know just as much as you. You're like, so you got any insider tips? It's like, no, I barely have any outsider tips. I don't have any tips. My tip is best of luck, But that is the annoying thing. Is like everyone just wants some type of information from you with what you do. And once people find out you got resources, they will treat you different. You get some money, people will treat you different. That's just a reality. But when you have people, if anything, they'll just shit on you for making money in a funny way, When you find those people in your life that, for most people, it's their parents, their family. If you have a good family, your family's always, they're going to still think you're a piece of shit no matter what. They remember when you were a piece of shit, That never changes. Once you're a piece of shit in someone's eyes, it never changes. That's the moral of today's pod. Once you're a piece of shit, you're always a piece of shit. Obviously, mostly joking, but there's always some value. Once someone sees you in a certain light, it's very hard to shake that off, if your wife comes home one day and you're getting pounded in the butt, that's hard to shake off, just tell her it's a deep fake, sweetie, you had your meta glasses on. That wasn't me. Once you're seen in a light, once you're seen with resources, once you're seen to be famous and you have the world at your hands and then it collapses, people will judge you and look at you different. And your butthole. But it's just all going back to the Spotify comment section. But yeah. No, you don't need the disband from your friends just because you got a little something now. You don't need to disband and have this superiority about yourself, If anything, you should be more about that, You probably should want less, Oh, fuck. Gotta say, you catch these cats in the wrong moment of the day, they look like they're praying to the Dalai Lama. More like the Dalai... Damn it. I had a good pun for it, but I forgot it. More like the Dalai Pama? Nah, that was bad. That was real bad. Yeah. Whew. This one was not as smooth as the one that I recorded that could not be posted, I can tell you that. Damn audio issue. Who knows? This one may have fucking audio issues. I quadruple mic checked this episode and it's still 50-50. But one thing I will say, the beautiful part of editing is I can just combine episodes. I can just cut shit out, I can actually, censor myself, monitor myself. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever, listened to yourself. I was watching some where it was like a singer from a group, I think from Rim, the band Rim. Someone was playing them, not even a live, literally the studio version, where they solo vocalize, basically where they solo vocalize the voice and they cut out all the instrumentation and you just feel the soul of the lyrics. And he felt so uncomfortable because all he could think about was the producer, I didn't really like him. He kind of made my vocals, he spiked it in a way I didn't like. The peaks, he didn't like, but he's he just didn't like his listening to his voice. Not that he had a bad voice in his mind, but it's always weird just listening to yourself. It's always weird just hearing yourself sing. It's always weird just hearing yourself talk for an extensive period of time and realize, shut the fuck up, There's something like that, sometimes if anyone's ever watched themselves on camera, they ever look back, it's painful. Even if you're giving out valuable information, even if you're relatively being entertaining, even if you're actually on top of your shit, bro, it's still just bro, if I was sitting here talking to you, I would fucking hate it. That's all you think. God, if I had to conversate with your ass, I would, kill myself like the Vatican, That dude's been dying for like a week and a half, bro. Like, it's happening, bro. Give it up. That's a fucked up thing to say, but come on. We always just assume that holding on for dear life is what living this life's all about, I'm pretty sure if you put a kid in front of him, he would all of a sudden survive, He all of a sudden revive himself. Who knows? Could be an inside job from the Vatican to cover up some things that may be coming out. It may have Epstein him. I don't know. We're so worried about these Epstein files and shit, but the Vatican, they get to kind of go by their own law and order, which is the weird. It's like, I understand separating church from the state. Yeah, stuff about God and faith should be left in the church. But, once you start touching children, that kind of goes to the state, some legal issues. But, apparently within this vicinity, they are self-governing police, which is like, okay, yeah. That's always a great idea when you just kind of do your own fucking thing, no matter what actually happens, I don't know. I know that's beating a dead horse, but, sometimes you got to beat a horse to holler. That sounds bad. You got to beat a horse to stabilize. I really thought about it, How much weight would I have to lose to be like a professional horse rider? I think I would have to lose like half my body weight. Some of these dudes are legitimately like 110 pounds, if not less. Like these jockeys are like 5'5", 105 pounds because they need to be as light as possible. Which I understand carrying more weight slows down the horse, but at the same time, I think you should at least, put on a little weight. It's got to know you're on his back. And sometimes when the momentum of your weight actually push the horse to generate more force, if that makes sense. It's like if you're squatting, right? Sure, you can squat 95 pounds with no resistance, but you're probably better off putting 155 in your back, even though it's not a whole lot more, but it's enough to where you're actually causing your body to use some type of strain relative to 95 pounds. Like you might as well be doing air squats at that point. You will generate more power and build more strength doing the 155 than the 95. There's your squatting horse tip of the day. But yeah. Not sure this will be a 1-part or 2-part. Might combine 2 episodes again or just. But yeah. That was episode 330 of the ONB Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Remember, like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. And, yeah. Bet all on puts. Put it on the puts. You putsy. Don't be a putsy.